You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello and welcome to episode 317 of the Rusted Robot Podcast for Sunday, December the 6th, 2020.
X-Ray Delta 1, this is Mission Control. Roger, you're 1930.
Just what do you think you're doing, Dave?
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All right, I'll take a shot at it. What the hell, it works on Star Trek.
There's a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace in Sector 4.
Ship, abandoned ship. All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close that surface.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Hey everybody, we're back at you with another exciting episode of the podcast. I'm Sean.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Kitty.
How's it going, guys?
Great. Good week.
Good.
Other than my leg.
Other than your leg?
Yeah.
What's wrong with your leg?
My blood clot is hurting again.
Yes. But you got a tattoo.
I did.
Tell us all about the tattoo. How was the experience? What'd you get and where'd you put it?
Right shoulder, right next to the shoulder blade.
Mm-hmm.
I got a set of D&D style dice
nice.
in a clock setup.
Right.
With the 20 at the top, then the die 4, die 6, die 8, die 12, die 10 high, die 12 in the clock formation. And so that's what I got.
Mm-hmm. Did it hurt?
Not too bad. It was like a constant pressure. The only time I felt any pain is just the moment before he brought his hand up. So where he's no longer pushing in with the tattoo, just as he's lifting it up.
Yep.
So that the needles start just barely tapping rather than piercing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I felt any pain. So every time he lifted his hand, it hurt just a smidgen, like a little pinchy.
Oh, but not bad.
Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. You're happy with it?
I am happy with it, yeah. It represents that this year is 25 years of tabletop RPG for me.
That's a long time.
Yeah. That's about 23 years of the same game going on. So I joined a game, and then one person left and another person joined, right? And we moved it from Tuesdays to Wednesdays, back to Monday, right? It moved around.
Right.
And we slowly changed people over the years.
But it's been the same campaign the whole time?
No, it's been several different campaigns, but it's been the Tuesday game has been played the entire time. Right? Mm-hmm. It's just moved days and moved people, but all by vote. So, like, it's not the same people. In fact, I'm the only person left from when I joined.
Yeah, because I joined later.
Because I joined before I was dating Katie. Mm-hmm. And it's been going on for...
Was that in college?
No, that was in high school. Because I would walk from the high school all the way up to...
Is that when your friend Pete was in it?
No. Peter, he joined after.
No. I mean, like, Camo Pete.
Yeah, he joined much later.
Okay, well, I don't know.
These
are people that I all met later, so...
It was our friend Anne, who was our former roommate, Mario, our former roommate Ian...
Sean used to drop in and out.
And Dustin were there when I started.
Not you, Sean.
Not me, Sean. A different Sean. Right. So what you're saying is the tattoo means a lot to you.
It does, because at least once a week...
For a quarter century.
I've been playing the game.
Right. Awesome.
In fact, for a period, I was playing 3 games a week. With 3 different groups of people.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get more tattoos?
I've been debating on getting ones to represent the children. Mm-hmm. But... Other than that, and maybe one on the 25-year anniversary with Katie, I'll get one.
Okay.
But they got to be like, I want them to have meaning.
Yep, of course.
Now, Katie is right. She has said several times already today, like, they don't have to have meaning. Which is true. You don't have to have meaning to your tattoos. You can just have, this looks cool, I want this on me so I can have the thing to look at.
Right.
But for me, I want them to have a meaning for me.
That makes sense.
That's fine. Everybody's different. Well, I'm just saying, if you wanted to have something just because it looks cool, nobody's going to... Well, I assume there's going to be some people who are going to be like, you shouldn't get it unless it has meaning to you.
Well, that's why I got this one here on my right arm. It's a picture of Bishop from the X-Men. Mm-hmm. My son's name is Bishop, and actually today's his 15th birthday.
Oh!
So happy birthday, son.
Happy birthday, Bishop!
Yeah, so tattoos can definitely have meaning.
I definitely say that for your first tattoo, it should probably have meaning, because, like, that's when you're first deciding whether or not you're going to commit to, like, having something permanently on your body.
Exactly.
So if it doesn't have any meaning to you, maybe you might want to opt out of not getting one yet. But like, you know, you can totally just get them just because. It's like any other kind of decoration, except permanent. It's there forever.
It is there forever.
Uh-huh.
You know what I did this week?
No, what did you do?
You do know what I did this week.
What do I know? What
Because
you
I
did?
talked about it on last week's episode. At the end, I did the live stream for the Indie Pods United Summit.
Oh, you did tell us about that.
I
totally
did.
forgot.
Yes, and I did it on Thursday at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time after work. I recorded it on my iPad so that it can be this upcoming week's Soulforge podcast, episode 182. So whoever didn't get to watch me can actually hear what I said. So
you cheaped out on content and just recorded yourself from something else.
free episode for next week.
There you go.
Yes,
Woo-hoo!
yes, that's what it's all about. The feedback that I got, I didn't get a lot of feedback, but apparently I look tired.
Don't we all always look tired?
was-
Isn't that part of being an adult now?
It is, and it was just after work on a Thursday, so I was tired. It went pretty well. I was a little bit nervous, but I got through it, and it's over now, so that's what counts. Yep. So for anybody who wants to hear that content, episode 182 this coming Thursday, soulforgepodcast.com.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, and okay, so we've done our witty banter. Should we get into feedback or celebrity deaths?
Oh, well, celebrity deaths, obviously. It's your favorite part of the show.
What could be better than the celebrity death of the week? Right. And this.
How about 3 of them?
Yes. What's better than one death? Multiple deaths.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. There you go. So last week, as I was editing the podcast, it was Sunday morning, and I was just taking a break and flipping through Facebook and stuff, and then there was the news all over Facebook.
I saw that too. It was so depressing.
Yes, David Prowse passes away at the age of 85.
And who was David Prowse?
Well, that was the actor who was the body of Darth Vader in the original trilogy. He wasn't the face in the last movie, and he wasn't the voice.
He was the tall, scary one that everybody likes to imitate when we put on a house coat and trudge through the house.
Exactly right. Yes, and he had the choice of being Chewbacca or Darth Vader, and he of course wanted to be the villain, and he was
who wouldn't really?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Also, you have less work, but more screen, more presence.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was a famous bodybuilder, and there's a good article on our Facebook page if anybody needs to know any more about that guy.
Really though, there's nothing that beats like dramatically turning with a cape, especially when you're evil.
True enough. True enough. Yes. So that was sad news, but we're at the age where all our childhood heroes are passing away.
Yeah.
Speaking of childhood heroes, I'm sure that the author, science fiction author, to be precise, Ben Bova was somebody's hero as well. You worked at a bookstore before. Tell me about Ben Bova. You don't know anything about him? What about you, Josh? No? You don't know anything about him either?
I did used to work in a bookstore. He's not one of the authors that I read, though.
No, and I know that he's written science fiction, and I may or may not have read some of his books decades ago, but he's not one of the people in my rotation.
Well, we should definitely research at least a little bit. Josh is looking it up right now.
Josh is looking it up right now, all about Ben Bova?
Well, we can't, he's a celebrity death. He deserves our admiration and for somebody to, remember what he did.
Okay, well, I know that he was 88 years old when he passed away, and there's a nice article from Tor.com on our Facebook page. And it says here, scientist, Hugo Award winner, and prolific science fiction author and editor Ben Bova passed away on Sunday, November 29th at the age of 88. The author of more than, 100 books.
Wow.
124 books in various genres.
Wow.
Jeez, I didn't know that. He also edited some of the genre's best-known publications and served as the president of the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America.
That's really cool.
Word of Bova's passing first came from Catherine Busco, who revealed that Bova had passed due to complications from COVID-19 and a stroke.
That sucks.
He was born in 1932, and there's quite a bit of information on him here. We could take up our entire show by talking about him, but that's what happened. And if you want to know more about him or read any of his books, I'm sure you can. I think I may have read one or two, but it wasn't my style of interest. So
Yeah, well, everybody's got different, Josh only likes, a handful of authors.
Right.
Yeah, particularly if I'm reading and not being read to.
Yes.
I am more picky when I'm reading the material.
Because it's more effort. Yeah, for sure. And then the third death was Hugh Keys Byrne, star of Mad Max and Mad Max Fury Road.
Yep.
Who passed away at the age of 73. He was, let me just take a look here.
He was the big villain guy.
Yes, a former Royal Shakespeare Company actor who settled in Australia, co-starred in Man from Hong Kong, and achieved worldwide recognition as the Toe Cutter in Mad Max and as Immortal Joe in Mad Max Fury Road. There's a whole huge article about this guy here too. I'm not going to read it because
It's long.
It's long, and we're just here to report the deaths and give some quick, witty comments and stuff. So if people want to research these people further, they certainly can. But that's our 3 celebrity deaths of the week. How about feedback? Should we get into feedback?
Sure, let's do feedback.
Okay, we got 1 email this week.
Excellent.
Get what we got, Mr. Roboto. It's another email.
It's from Bill Lamond, and
Hey, Bill.
he's written us before, and it's always appreciated when he sends us some stuff. And this is for episode 315. And he says, the thing to do about the Arecibo's dish is to investigate what allowed it to become so fragile in the first place. Why weren't cables replaced one at a time well before predictable failure? And why didn't they try crowdfunding? And also, the very dead volcano under the crater still exists. They can build a new array and maybe take better care of it this time. And then we wanted to start a new segment called The Unpopular Opinion.
You wanted to.
I
yes.
wanted to, yes. Yes. So he says, voicing unpopular positions isn't by itself a bad idea, but think of people who already say things that logical people find wrong, such as, trust only us, everyone else is lying to you. How would we ever agree on the people, the dirty dozen or so, who are awful enough to risk, but not so awful that rewarding them with freedom on successful repair of the dish wouldn't be awful? Sorry, somehow I didn't hear or at least recall your request for how we could get an actual animal mecha. I did see the actual non-lethal battle between 2 mecha, one built in Japan, the other built in the US. I don't recall which one by disabling the other mecha. That's all I have for you. And didn't you tell me, Josh, that it was...
I believe the Americans won that.
I believe so, yeah.
That was so cool to watch.
Yes, I remember. We talked all about that. That was quite a
I
while
wanted
ago.
it to last longer, because like the build-up for it made me feel like it was going to be like, do you remember that Robot Wars show that we used to watch? What was that called?
Robot Wars?
Is that all it was called?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, they used to last a little bit longer, and they were much smaller bots.
Yeah, but that's after having design revisions and updates. This is first go-round mech design go.
Plus, I guess the bigger they are, the more complex they are, and once it gets damaged, it's down for the count rather than having backups because it's small.
Yeah, and he goes on to say, a lobster is a good model for an armored mecha.
Yeah, lobster.
And the centipede would work better for firing broadsides, as a beam weapon turret would be a final lens, I guess. And he says, pants on the floor, Sean? Whew. You're the opposite of on point this week. You're all entertaining, but the kind that's generally safe for work, which I prefer. Stay safe. We are safe for work, I think. We can,
for the most part,
for the most part, yeah.
I think we kind of pride ourselves on being family friendly and safe for anybody to listen to, for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, we have a few moments where we're not, but that's okay. So, that's our celebrity deaths. That's our feedback. That's talking about live streams and tattoos. Did you hear that Oscar Isaac is going to play Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid video game movie?
No.
Nah.
No? You didn't hear about that?
Josh and I, we only have like limited video games, so we don't even have the Solid Snake franchise.
Me neither. I've never played it. I don't know anything about it.
It looks like fun.
The thing is, that franchise is almost impossible to put into film, right? Particularly if you get the original director on board at all.
The director of the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if you take the cutscenes from all the games,
Yeah.
I think, if I recall correctly, I might be wrong, but it's like 17 hours of cutscenes.
Well, it says here, the film, which has been in various pre-production limbo stages for years, is written by Derek Connolly and will be directed by Jordan Vogel-Roberts. And while the film's production schedule has yet to be announced, the casting report is a good sign of real concrete progress. Since the 1990s, Metal Gear Solid has stood as one of the video game industry's preeminent franchises. Created by famed developer Hideo Kojima, the series follows super spy soldier Solid Snake in his lifelong battle against a line of walking battle tanks called Metal Gears and the nuclear Armageddon they threaten. While the series began as a relatively grounded Tom Clancy-style military thriller, the story grew more absurd over time, eventually invoking everything from rogue AIs to actual ghosts. And according to Deadline, Oscar Isaac has been cast in the leading role of Snake for the upcoming film adaptation. The announcement is the latest in a string of significant developments for Isaac, who will also be playing Marvel's Moon Knight in the MCU. There we go. That's all we know so far.
So
That's pretty cool.
I guess.
So I'm not too concerned about the casting, mostly because this movie has been so long in pre-production that I don't even know if it will ever be made. It's one of those films that, like, you go, oh, this would be great as a film.
Like Alien vs. Predator or Freddy vs. Jason, where it just takes forever.
And then what you end up with is a crap end result. Yeah.
Although Freddy vs. Jason, like that, everybody knew what it was going to be like, and that's exactly what we got. Humorous, comedic horror.
But the thing is, it wasn't as good as it should have been because they toned it down.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we can't go for the hard stuff that we used to do in the 70s. We're going to have to go for lighter. And then you're like, oh, this is okay, I guess. And, like, it's too contrived. They didn't work it out well enough. So, same thing with Alien vs. Predator. The film feels contrived.
Where it works better as a death battle because it is shorter.
Yeah.
And nobody's trying to put story behind it. They're just like, these two are going to fight for reasons.
They could have done better. Because, like, particularly the Alien versus Predator, you didn't need the whole plot with the humans. You didn't.
Yeah, no, you didn't need the humans at all, really. Well, to, like,
you could have done
breed the aliens, and then that's it.
You could have had the humans find the temple and get all of them wiped out.
Yeah.
Right, and turned into aliens, and the Predators come down, and they hunt them, and the rest of the film is silent, with no people.
Yeah, you don't need people.
That would have been amazing.
Right?
Uh-huh.
An hour of fights and, like, the Predator moving around and you see through their vision just sneaking, right? And then they're being counter-hunted, so they gotta move silently and get around into a better attack position.
And we could have followed the visual cues from one specific Predator and one specific alien.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would have been a whole lot better than this plot that we got for this one. So...
It was mediocre.
In a lot of these films that sit in production limbo for years, what we end up getting is a meh result because it's been watered down to, well, the public won't understand it, so you gotta dumb it down.
We're going to call the film Enemy Mine, so we better put a mine at the end.
Yep. Yep.
Right, because people don't understand English language, and people are idiots. So.
But also, like, anybody who's a fan for long enough, like, you're going to get your fans going, and they already understand it.
Exactly.
And new people, if they don't get it, they might go back and watch the old ones and then get it. So, like, I don't know. Trying to please just the general public is always a bad idea.
It is. But you know what does please the general public? Listening to podcasts such as this podcast right here.
Transmission commencing.
This is Wookiee Radio.
Translated for the Wookiee impaired. I like that Wookiee.
Your hosts, Ken, Derek, and Mike, bring you the latest news and commentary from the far reaches of the galaxy.
Hold it. Hold it. I said hold it.
Subscribe today on iTunes and Stitcher.
I just assumed he's a Wookiee.
Start listening today, and remember,
the Force will be with you, always.
Which is a fellow podcast on the ESO network.
Yeah, that's true. People do love podcasts.
People love podcasts.
Like, everybody has one.
Everybody?
I'm on one.
You are on a podcast. Josh is on a podcast.
Josh is on a podcast.
Josh is on a podcast. How do you feel about that? You like being on a podcast?
I'm very depressed.
Yeah? Well, as long as you keep being my co-host week after week, I don't care about your depression. How about that?
Not until you go on the other podcast.
That's right. That's right. So,
is that what is your plan? Let it build up, and then you can harness it for your second podcast.
Harness it.
That's right. Exactly.
Like the power of the Caribbean sun.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a Sunny D commercial.
Okay.
From the 90s, I think.
Yes, the 90s. You know what didn't exist in the 90s? COVID-19 didn't exist in the 90s.
That's
but
true.
It exists this year in 2020, and it's completely changed the entire movie landscape.
That's true.
So much so, in fact, that Warner Brothers has decided they're going to release all of their 17 films that are coming out in 2021 to HBO Max the same day as they go in theaters. So the landscape for movie theaters is changing.
So, okay.
I still really like going to theaters, though.
So,
yes.
The question on that, is it going to be a release just onto Max? If you have Max, you get it? Or is it going to be released like Mulan, where you're going to have to buy it?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
Well, I finally got to watch that.
I assume that if you have HBO Max, you have access to all their content, and you don't have to pay extra for it.
Disney Plus, you don't have access to Mulan unless you paid for it.
It's free now, I saw.
Yeah, it is now,
but when you first...
It was $30 or something. Stupid,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, it's cheaper than going to the theater for a family of 4.
That's true, because tickets are $10 on average, 14 if you're in the Luxury Theater, plus $50 for snacks.
Who want to go to the luxury seats anyway?
Yeah, I can't go back to the regular seats.
You can't go back to the regular seats. No.
That's for suckers.
Regular seats are for suckers.
For suckers.
Kitty said so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this is going to do damage to the theater system as we have.
Yes.
I hope the theaters manage to stay a thing, because I really like going. Like, I don't want to go now.
The question becomes, like, if they do this and they are successful and they make money at it, because that's the whole thing. They got to make money at it, right?
Well, yeah.
So they have to be releasing it on a you pay for it schedule, or else it doesn't make sense.
Unless because I hear that there's HBO Max is struggling for content and for subscribers since they launched this year, so they're hoping that this movie thing will get more subscribers to them.
It's because they've limited themselves to what's on their, like, what they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can only play HBO things, and that's only one channel that's been producing for a number of years, but not, like, they didn't even fill a whole day every day. Most of the day was filled with movies.
Yes.
And most of those movies aren't going to be on HBO Max because they're either already on Netflix, they're already on Disney Plus, they're already on
Amazon Prime.
Prime, or what's the other one there?
Oh, there is another one.
Hulu, right? So they're going to be on all of those things already. So they're not going to be pulling in those. It's just the HBO shows. And really, what are the HBO shows that we know?
Game of Thrones.
Which you never hear about anymore.
True Blood.
True Blood. You have
Boardwalk Empire.
You got Sopranos. You got a few other...
Sopranos was so good.
Yeah, but you can't base an entire thing around a few dozen shows. Let's get them generous and say they got 3 dozen original shows on there that are worth watching. I can burn through 3 dozen shows.
Is Walking Dead on there?
No, Walking Dead is AMC.
Ah, that's right. It fits the whole, like, violent and has boobs.
It doesn't have boobs.
Doesn't it?
There's no nudity in
The Walking Dead.
Is that because it's AMC?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, HBO is basically the same but has boobs. That's
Yeah.
the difference
So
between the two.
let's
That's
say
what the B stands for.
I hope so.
So
Home Boobs Office?
Home's boobs office.
so they have let's say 3 dozen shows.
They have 3 dozen shows.
Okay. And average out 5 seasons each.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And they're an hour long each.
Hour long. Let's be generous and say 26 episodes a season.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 months, and I'm done. I've gone through everything they have. That's assuming I want to watch everything they have.
And you probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Because like, there's some shows where you're like, this is not for me, or what have you, or they just get bad. A la...
Mad Men?
Never saw Mad Men.
Mad Men didn't get bad. I enjoyed Mad Men all the way through.
I gave up at some point because no character became salvageable. Everybody was trash.
Yes.
I have not seen one episode of The Sopranos. I have not seen one episode of Boardwalk Empire. What's the other ones you said?
True Blood?
I saw one episode of True Blood one time, and then I lost the channel.
That one was good. And
Seasons 1 and 2 of True Blood are really good.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. And
they are nothing like the novels.
Yeah, no, they're totally different.
The novels are actually really good. I suggest you listen to them.
I won't, though. I just won't ever get around to it. As for Game of Thrones, I've seen everything but the last season. So
I saw season 1 and I think maybe season 2.
We watched season 1 and 2.
Eh.
We watched them with Ruth.
Right. I stopped caring, though. There was too much weight between them.
Hi, this is Admiral Adama, Battlestar Galactica, saying you're listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
Well, I waited till all 6 seasons were out, the first 6, and I got an Android box and then powered through it.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't grab me enough to make me, like, I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to watch the rest. Like, maybe I would have if I was able to binge it at the time.
Right. So, anyway, the long story short is that all the Warner Brothers films are going to be on HBO Max and at the theater, and it's going to divide the movie business, and we'll never be the same again. And maybe some theaters are going to go out of business, and who knows what's going to happen. Because 2020 kind of messed everything up.
I wonder if that'll change after, like, COVID is over. Because, like, I assume I'm not the only person who only isn't going to theaters because of the COVID thing. Like...
True. That is a large percentage of it. But...
I will definitely go back as soon as it's lifted, but I'm not going now.
But the thing is, that only works so long as the theater is still there after COVID.
But, like, here, like, the building will still exist. So, like, it would just be a matter of whether or not the company can open again. But also, it would be a niche that's not being filled. So, like, say if it closed down because of COVID, during COVID, after it's lifted, it could be something where somebody's like, hey, this town doesn't have a theater anymore. And I'll bet now that COVID's not a thing anymore, we could open a theater. So that could happen.
Then it's getting back into the distribution rights.
I guess, yeah.
And, like, I'm assuming they got a deal on how they get their films, and the new people would probably get screwed over.
Maybe. But it could be like how Silver City, they just buy buildings sometimes, or buy theaters that already exist that are going under, and they're just like, we'll make it a theater, and we'll make it a Silver City theater, or whatever. Because, like, you know, there are places that have money to just throw into things.
Sure. Yes. So next topic of discussion is the Star Trek part of the podcast.
Ooh.
Yes. So
Josh's favorite part.
Yes, Josh loves Star Trek, right?
I do.
Yes. So anyway, you all know the Doctor from Voyager.
Oh, okay. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, Bob Picardo. Well, I was scrolling through my Facebook today, and he showed up in the People You May Know suggestions.
And you do know him, don't you?
I've never met him.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Are
sure.
you sure you didn't meet him at one of your Elon Musk parties?
I may have, but no, I don't think so. I think
Are you
I would
sure?
remember. I would remember.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What if you were just too drunk?
You may be friends with somebody who is a friend.
Yeah, we have one mutual friend.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes, of course. But it's just, you don't normally see...
You have a mutual friend with somebody who's friends with Bob Picardo?
Yes.
That's kind of awesome.
Yes.
And really weird.
Yes.
That's the 6 degrees of separation.
And not a good friend. It's some guy I met once at a convention a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
but that's the 6 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
You can connect yourself with anybody else in the world through 6 people.
Well, that's right. And my Klingon crew, they met him at a convention too, actually, the year before I went.
Okay.
So,
That's neat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you're only 1 step removed from Robert Picardo.
That's correct.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Yes.
Which means you're only 2 steps away from Patrick Stewart.
Correct. Yes.
And 3 from the Queen.
Of course.
You know, Robert Picardo is my favorite character from Voyager.
Is that right?
Uh-huh. He's my favorite one.
Well, I could believe that. He was probably one of the best ones, so yeah.
I love the Doctor.
Doc's good. 7 of 9.
And Tuvix.
No, God.
Oh my god, you love Tuvix? No, you're being facetious.
Yeah.
I see it. I was just like, no, he was awful.
He was only in one episode.
Yeah. Ugh.
But there's another podcast that I listen to, and they're always going on this Tuvix kick.
Why?
Oh, it's because that's their latest obsession.
Is it because he's awful?
Well,
or do they honestly like him?
I think the one guy honestly likes them, and they're always giving heck to Janeway for killing him off.
No, he was a bad character. Like, I know, like, Federation rules and, like, Janeway's morality, and that she was really good friends with Tuvok and Neelix, but, like,
yep.
I wouldn't want to spend the rest of however long the trip's going to be with Tuvix.
I know.
I'd kill him off, too.
Of course.
Even if I didn't know Tuvok and Neelix.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, man, you gotta go out the airlock.
And that's pretty much what happened.
No, she got her friends back, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
She didn't just blast him out an airlock.
No, but it was the same thing. He disappeared. He was gone.
F that us. I'm not spending the rest of eternity with you.
Yes. So, in other Star Trek news, you know what? One of the worst episodes is considered Shades of Grey, the final episode of season 2, the clip show of Next Generation.
Oh, that's the one with Riker and the
alien vine thing in his
leg.
Yeah. So it was on TV the other day, and I was waiting for something else to come on, so I just had it on in the background. And when you're playing on your phone and having Shades of Grey on in the background, it's not that bad of an episode, actually.
It's a pretty bad episode.
Oh,
it is not the worst episode, though.
Yes, it's the perfect episode to be distracted with. From.
It is not the worst episode, though.
No.
Code of Honor is by far worse.
Which one's that one?
No vaccine, no Lieutenant Yar, and no treaty.
Then you shall have no treaty, no vaccine, and no Lieutenant Yar.
That's the one where they were originally supposed to be lizard people, but they didn't have the money for the special effects.
The costumes?
So the director hired black actors, and because it was kind of a tribal kind of town or planet.
Like civilization?
Yeah, they shouldn't have hired the black people because it made it look racist.
It made it look real racist.
Because there's been...
Is that the one where Yar has to like fight for her freedom?
Yes. And
the fight scene's cool.
And people who have listened to the episode without actually watching it say it's a really good episode.
It is a good
episode. If you don't see the visuals,
If they were lizard people, like they were supposed to be,
yes,
it would have been fine.
Yeah, it would probably have been one of the better episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not, because that whole episode made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I was 8 or 9 when I saw that, and I was like, "This isn't right.
This is not right." Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't notice. I thought the fight scene was cool. I thought the weapon that she chose looked cool, but was an impractical weapon to have.
The spiky ball with the hook on the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hooked. It should be a straight big spike on the end. It shouldn't be hooked.
Yeah.
Because a hook makes you have to come towards yourself.
Yeah, and that's always a bad idea. They tell you when you're peeling potatoes not to do that. Never cut towards yourself.
That's right. So, yeah, that's a bad episode. Shades of Grey is known far as wide as a bad episode, but when you're not really paying attention to it, it's okay. I watched episode 8 of Star Trek Discovery.
Black alert. Black alert.
This past Thursday.
Okay, so talking about a worse episode of Star Trek.
Yeah. See, this is the part that I was jokingly saying was Josh's favorite.
I know. I caught that. This episode was called The Sanctuary.
Okay.
And I know they went back to Book's planet, and we saw his brother, and we saw the bad leader of the Emerald Chain, and I don't remember much else about it. It wasn't very memorable, but Kayla Detmer, the hot redhead, got a lot of screen time, and she got to pilot a ship, and it was awesome. That's all I got to say. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing on that, man.
No, I know. I think you'd like season 3 because it's kind of a reboot. They kind of ignore the first 2 seasons,
which is fine, but they also ignore established canon.
They're in the 32nd century, so the canon is gone. They're unshackled from canon. They can do what they want. They're charting new territory.
Except they shouldn't be in the 32nd century.
But they are, so...
Because the time shift relativity would have stopped them from going there.
The temporal accord, the time accords are gone. The war's over. Time travel's banished and outlawed and stuff. So
yeah, but they travel through time.
Yeah, I know.
You can't go time travel is banished and then go when these people travel through time and there is no consequence. It's like the only way to travel through time with no consequence in the Star Trek universe, if there's been some sort of temporal accord where people have massive ability to control space-time and prevent other people from traveling through time, is going through a source that has more power than they could possibly have, when the only source that we know of that has the power to do that is either a Traveler, or Q, or any omnipotent race like that. Did the Q send them through time?
No.
Well then...
It was the Red Angel suit with the time crystal from the planet Boroth.
How long do you think an episode based solely around the Q could last before it got boring because they're all overpowered?
An episode or a series? Because, you do a whole episode around the Q. They've done several episodes around the Q.
I mean, like a small, like a teeny, it'd be like a Star Trek miniseries.
Like a 5-episode run?
Maybe, yeah.
Or do you mean, like 10-minute episodes of the adventures of Q?
That would be fun. Like shorts, like Star Trek shorts, but it's all just like the Q running around wreaking havoc on people. Oh.
Now, would it be the Q or Q?
Just Q?
Just Q. Because, Q he's the definitive Q.
Yeah.
The John Delancey.
Delancey, yeah.
Right.
I like where he runs around creating havoc.
I would love to watch a whole mini run of just short 10-minute episodes of Q being Q.
Like short treks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just Q doing things...
Just showing up places and ruining people's lives. Possibly saving some people.
Because Q does things that are entertaining. They're not always destructive.
Yeah, sometimes he's even altruistic. Like, he'll save things sometimes.
Depending where we are in Q's non-linear timeline.
It is not linear.
This would be like after Picard, though.
If it's after Picard,
he's a better person.
He might help people, might hurt people, might do anything.
Who knows? Who knows what he'll do? He's an agent of chaos.
Sean, get on this. Start pitching it to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know Picardo.
Yeah.
So like this would be able to use cameos from anybody who's still alive. Because we can just grab them from any point in their time.
I think they should have done that, actually. I was hoping for a time travel show where you just see different things, different genres, cartoons sometimes.
I'd love him to
eras.
just like, you know the new Star Trek cartoon?
Yes,
if
Lower
he showed
Decks.
up in that one, but showed up as Discord from My Little Pony and then went, oops, wrong form, and then swapped to his...
Well, Q was in Lower Decks.
Yeah, but
I know.
I want him to show up as...
Of course.
As
I get it.
Discord, because that would be amazing, because he's voiced by the same guy and has the same powers.
Yes, and you know what else is amazing?
What?
The penultimate episode of Season 3 of Discovery airs on December 31st.
December 31st.
And as of that airing, that means there will have been 800 episodes of Star Trek.
Holy moly.
Between original series, cartoon, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager,
other cartoon,
Enterprise, Picard, Discovery, the Lower Decks cartoon, and the short treks. That's 800
Short treks
episodes.
don't count.
They're counting it for the 800.
They're not episodes. They're short. They're shorts.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to argue with me about everything. But
that's like what
the point
he does.
is, I know.
It's literally why you have me on the episode, is to challenge you.
Yes, of course. But I'm just trying to get through this before I forget all my train of thought. So that's 800 episodes. January 7th is the final episode of Season 3, and that means that's 2021, which is the start of the new decade. And that means Star Trek will have been produced in every decade since the 60s. That's 7 decades of Star Trek, guys. 7 decades. What?
It wasn't produced in the new decade.
It was aired.
Aired, but not produced.
I don't care if it was produced in the new decade. It was aired. So that's all that counts. As long as it was out in the new decade, that's all I care about.
Okay.
So you got the 60s, you got the 70s, you got the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, the teens, and the 21s. So that's 7 decades. That's pretty awesome. Every decade has Star Trek being produced, without fail, even if there was long dry periods. And I think that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, what was the cartoon? Like 71?
73 and 74.
73,
22 episodes. So it counts. It just squeaks in through the 70s, and you got the movie from 79.
The movie doesn't count. That's not a TV show.
No, it's not a TV series, but it was still produced, so it's still good stuff. It's awesome.
Well, we can count the 70s because the cartoon got in 73, and then Next Gen in 87. Yes. So that's a long run between those.
Yeah, there was 19 years. 18 years between 69 and 87.
No, because we got to go through from 73.
Yeah, I know.
Or from 74.
The live action, I'm thinking.
What were we talking about yesterday?
I don't know, I wasn't here.
Where their hobbies included arguing and drinking tea, and I related it to you.
Oh, we were talking about Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail, because we recently showed Damien that.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Did you like it?
Yes, he loved it. And we spoke of the three-headed giant in the film, right? Because we looked up some of the names of some of the characters, right? And the three-headed giant...
Or the three-headed knight, as he's also called.
Yeah. His
we had
hobbies...
a list of hobbies for him, which he's only in there for like a couple of minutes.
And his hobbies are killing people and arguing and drinking tea.
Yes. That works. That relates to you. Yeah, that makes sense. Because we're having tea right now. So in the final bit of Star Trek news, did you guys ever watch What We Left Behind, the Deep Space Nine documentary?
Nope.
No.
Me neither. But they're working on a Voyager documentary. They say it should be out in 2021.
Okay, I'll watch that. Because, again, of actual Star Trek, DS9 is my least favorite.
I know. But
Not anymore.
Of actual Star Trek.
But speaking to Star Trek, or TrekMovie.com, there all these people that they interviewed in this article that I'm kind of half-ass reading said they started off discussing how the Voyager documentary is progressing before conversation turned to What We Left Behind, specifically that they're planning on expanding the writer's room part of it into a separate project. So the Deep Space Nine documentary is going to get a spin-off. That's pretty awesome. I still haven't seen it. I want to. But in that thing, they did interviews, and they had so much information and filming stuff that they couldn't put it all into one thing, obviously. But in that, they had a fake Season 8, how that would go if they had gone back to Deep Space Nine and did an 8th season 20 years later. So they're going to do more of that, apparently.
Okay.
A lot of speculation.
All right. The last few seasons of that show were not great.
What are you talking about? Those were some of the best seasons of Star Trek ever. The Dominion War arc, that was amazing.
Yeah, no.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
No. No. Okay. See, I don't get. I like the feel of Star Trek. That's why I'm a fan.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I don't like Discovery. It does not feel like Star Trek. The more they deviate from what feels like Star Trek, the less I like it. Which is why I love the Orville.
Okay.
It feels like Star Trek.
They've resumed filming season 3.
Excellent.
Yes.
So, fantastic. Love that show. So it feels like Star Trek. That's why I love it. And that's why most people love that show, because it feels like Star Trek.
Right.
And you have a whole galaxy spanning a couple hundred years where you can fit yourself into the timeline and just do stories.
Yes.
In that universe. You don't have to go in and go, so we're going to redo this universe and we're going to change all the things people love about it. And now it's dark and broody
and gritty.
And what, the utopia of Earth is actually really a dystopia where people are poor even though we can give them as much food and water and anything else they want because we have near unlimited energy and matter replicators.
Did you finish watching season 1 of Picard?
I've watched more of it, but not by much.
Okay, and Lower Decks, did you watch any more of that?
I've watched some of Lower Decks, yes.
Okay, but not the whole thing?
No. Again, I don't have a ready source to watch it.
Right, okay. Okay, in other space news, Elon Musk's SpaceX thinks we're going to get humans on Mars by either 2024 or 2026, depending on the orbital mechanics and the readiness of their rocket ships.
Excellent.
Yes.
I am happy with anything that pushes the space bounds.
Same.
Yeah. Now, when they land on Mars, will they claim it?
I don't know. He did say that they're not going to be following international law. It's going to be their own self-determining place because it's their own planet. So,
yeah,
he's going to make up his own rules.
So, and also the current laws as they stand state no government may claim any celestial body.
Right.
SpaceX is a private company.
It is.
So they can claim the planet.
And they're going to change the name of the planet from Mars to Musk.
Sure.
I just made that up, but it's the same amount of
letters.
It's
their planet, they can do it.
They could do it. They could totally do it. So that's that. In our feedback section, Bill referenced the Arecibo array, and I don't know if you saw the video. The thing collapsed, and there's like a 10-second video going around online, and it's spectacular. It looks like a disaster film, where the big thing that is over the dish, the I don't know what you even call it, but the thing, it just, all the cables snapped and just it was gone.
Yeah.
There was very, very much sadness around the scientific community this week because of that.
Yeah. But who knows? They might be able to build something better.
You never know.
We already have stuff that are better than the Arecibo array.
Yeah, we have better technology already.
Like, it is an incredibly useful array, and it's been producing scientific data right up until the end.
Yeah.
And to Bill's point earlier, why didn't they do something about it? Because it's government funded, right?
Yeah.
Government funded things tend to be budget cutted.
True.
Right?
True.
And I'm guessing basic maintenance just got put on the back burner. Like, here's your budget, it's $12, go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially with things for like, science, technology, the arts. They always get put on the back burner in lieu of like
tax cuts for the rich.
We could have tax cuts for the rich. We could have more war things because we don't already have enough war things.
You can never have enough war things.
Katie, what about the oil companies? They need to be subsidized.
They're
the only most profitable companies in the world. We need to subsidize them.
What if they told them there was like oil in space? Would that work?
No, that won't work.
No?
No, there's no oil in space.
Yeah, but you could tell them that. A lot of them are dumb, so...
But there's minerals in space.
That is definitely true.
Yes, there are whole planets made out of diamonds and gold and platinum and all that stuff. And speaking of being in space and stuff, China's Chang'e 5 landed on the moon the other day, and it's been collecting the first lunar samples in decades.
Excellent. And again, anything that pushes the bounds of space, I'm all for.
Yes.
This is an automated probe, I assume?
Well, yeah.
Or is it a remote control probe?
I don't know.
Because the lag time's only a second.
The article didn't have much information. It just said that this is what happened. I think December 1st.
I gotta check. I gotta go with the Chang'e 5. I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in what designs they use, particularly with a lag time of only a second. Mm-hmm. You can design something that you could manipulate with I move the arm forward and literally just have a little armature that you push forward to move the arm.
Yeah.
So you could actually have almost real time because it's only a second lag, which is not that bad.
No. So that's what happened. I wish I had more information about it, but there wasn't much to be found. It's just, this is what happened. So that's cool. And since we're in that part of the world, China, in Japan, the Gundam, the video you just saw for.
Yeah.
Tell us about Gundam. That's anime stuff, right?
That is a long-running anime.
Okay.
It is one of the early entries into the military mecha genre, as opposed to the general mecha or the mecha fighting monsters.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the early stuff was mecha fighting monsters, a la Voltron. Right.
Yep.
This is a more grounded military story. Okay. So while, yes, they are fighting giant fighting robots using laser cannons and particle beam guns and beam sabers, it's grounded in that it's not fighting random monsters that pop up weekly. It's fighting other mechs for tactical moves and whatnot.
Okay.
Early Gundam was still power of friendship kind of deal to it, and like the pilot was special and da-da-da-da. But it's still running. There's still new Gundam shows being produced. And as a mech, it's a not bad design.
The video and the article that I shared on the Facebook page, it just says that the latest giant Gundam has gone up near Yokohama's Chinatown in the Yamashita Futo Harbor in a special area that will be called the Gundam Factory Yokohama. What makes this particular 59-foot Gundam interesting is the degree to which it moves, a total of 24 articulating joints.
Mm-hmm.
So it's big, and we saw the video, and anybody who wants to see it can go to our Facebook page and find the Gundam article, but it's super awesome. And
it's not yet totally independently moving, though.
Well, no, not yet, but...
Not yet,
but soon. And it's going to take over the world. So I just thought that was...
Well, they got to get the speed up, and they got to be independently moving, but baby steps.
Well, that's right. So I thought that was cool.
I've already told my boss to order one, because I need to be able to change the Christmas lights on the outside of the building.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
And, I'll convince him yet. He's a fan of Gundams. He might buy one.
Well, there you go. And other than that,
it'd be so cool. Could you imagine buying a whole big Gundam for the purpose of only putting up Christmas lights?
That would be pretty neat.
Just have it hidden underneath the mall for most of the year. This big awesome thing that could draw tourists and stuff, and be like, no, that's for putting up Christmas lights. We don't just leave it out all the time.
You spent $40 million on a robot to put up Christmas lights?
And put up new HVAC units. We got to do that once every 10 years.
Okay,
It'd be the coolest way to put up new HVAC units.
Right.
It'd be like an annual thing where people come to watch. They're putting up the Christmas lights on the 101 Mall. Isn't that where Jump City is?
Jump City. Timmins, Ontario, Canada.
I think that is true. I think that there's a comic book shop in the 101 Mall, which I hope the Gundam does not fall over and crush.
By Jove, I believe you're correct.
Yes.
38 Pine Street North, Timmins, Ontario.
That's where the 101 Mall is.
That's where it is. That's where we'll find the Gundam putting up the Christmas lights.
That's right. That's exactly right. Good way to plug your store.
Thank you. I never miss an opportunity.
nor should you.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. She does it all the time. She even plugs it. We're watching TV downstairs, and she's like, there's this comic book shop.
Yeah, I've only done that a couple times, but it is kind of weird. He knows where it is. He helped me build it.
He works there. Yeah.
Well, he works in the 101.
Yeah.
Not in the comic shop.
No.
Although sometimes I have left him occasionally so I could run and go get something.
Of course. So there's that.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yep. You're welcome.
Okay, that's our shameless plug of the week. I should also mention Soulforge Podcast and Cosmic Beats Podcasts, which you guys out there in podcast land need to be listening to as well. And stay tuned for this coming Thursday's episode 182 of Soulforge, where you can hear me being nervous on a live stream that you can't see me with.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Josh, don't pick at your tattoo.
I'm not picking at the tattoo. I'm picking at the tape glue on the shoulder.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's more specific than you are. He wasn't picking at the tattoo, just the surrounding areas.
Well, it's fine.
No, this is the glue is sticking in.
Oh, I know. I've had tattoos. I get it. Yeah.
I didn't tape anything. I just went home.
Oh, you're tougher than us, I guess.
Nah, just dumber.
Oh, okay. All right, speaking of dumb things, don't you have a hypothetical of the week for us?
I do. So if you could be an evil version of yourself, assuming you're not already the evil version, would you have any powers or particular style? Would you be like when Spock and Kirk came through the mirror and just have a goatee and rely on tech?
Well, I've already got a goatee, so maybe I would be
Maybe
clean-shaven.
you're the evil version already.
I'm probably the evil version. that would make a lot of sense.
Technically, you don't. You got a Van Dyke.
Yes, true enough, because, yes, my mustache and my beard are attached, so... Right.
Okay. And then, so
just...
Yeah.
That would be the difference?
Yes, if I unattached my beard to my mustache, then I would have a proper goatee.
Oh, no.
But as it stands...
So that's the difference I need to look for if you're evil?
Yes.
That makes it really hard.
Because they're attached, it's a Van Dyke. That's the technical term, but nobody calls it that. Except for certain people.
Anybody that goes, no, that's not a goatee, that's a Van Dyke.
That's what I meant by certain
specialists?
People. Yeah.
Pedantic people.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Okay, but let's say you could have powers like being an evil sorcerer or something like that.
But that's not a mirror universe. That's just
she's asking if
like an alternate version,
what would your
version.
evil version of you be?
Okay.
Yeah. Would you be fantasy based, tech based?
I would be me, except I would have successful podcasts.
That's not evil.
You don't know about the subliminal messages inside of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
Are you summoning anything like Cthulhu or?
No, sponsorship.
Oh.
So that's how I'm going to make my...
Brought to you by the Tourism Board of the City of Rilliers.
Exactly. So yeah, if our listeners want to participate in the hypothetical alternate universe you, they can email us at therustedrobot@gmail.com.
Sounds good.
Yes, and they have 2 weeks in order to do that, because today's the 6th, next week is the 13th, and the weekend after that is the 20th, and then we're going to take 2 weeks off for the holidays.
How long?
2 weeks.
How long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Do you know what's happening in 2 weeks, roughly? Except it'll be technically the 21st of December.
The last episode that comes out?
Yes, that is also true.
Yeah.
But more specifically on the 21st of December.
Is that a solstice or an equinox?
It is also the...
Which one is it? Is it the equinox
winter
or the
solstice?
The solstice. Right.
Solstice, summer, winter?
Yes.
Equinox, fall, and spring.
Yeah, I can never keep those straight. But what's happening on the 21st, Kitty?
Some special science news.
Oh?
Astronomy.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to have the Christmas star.
Yeah, for the first time in 800 years.
Since the year 1215 or something, I think they said.
Something like that.
I can't
But it's
remember.
going to be Jupiter and Saturn are actually aligning,
And
giving the
brightness
of like a super bright star, but it's actually just going to be a dual planet aligning.
Yes. Now, apparently this happens every 20 years, but it doesn't happen at this time of the year since 800 years ago.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Some people are speculating that it might be the quote-unquote star of Bethlehem, but, that all remains...
Well, scientists can figure that crap out by going back through their archives.
Well, it could have also just been like a thing that somebody saw and they'd be like, oh, it'd be really cool if we wrote this into the book.
Yeah.
Because, that happens in real books all the time.
Also, the Star of Bethlehem was supposed to always be in a single direction. From day to night, they followed the star.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
planets move, which is
they
why
would move
this is
across
happening.
the sky.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a
because
comet.
like any other day, it'll rise in the east and set in the west.
Of course.
Yes.
The Star of Bethlehem would have to have been an object moving around the earth, so that people in that certain region could see it pointing in a certain direction.
That makes sense. Okay, so this is a good spot to end the show because we're almost at an hour, and I have to edit this thing and you guys don't. So
Take that, sucker.
I know, right?
Yep.
What did I get myself into?
Haha, it's your own fault.
I know it's my own fault. I take full responsibility. But anyway, listeners...
You love it. It's part of the fun.
It is part of the fun. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us in all the ways that you do. Take care, and remember...
If at first you don't succeed, nuke it from orbit.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rusted Robot Podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit therustedrobot.podbean.com for all of our social media links, and don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Rusted Robot Podcast is your best source for geek-style pop culture news.
I could do this all day.
A year that many of us would like to forget. There's a bright spot, literally. One spectacularly rare Christmas star is about to light up the sky on the first day of winter. Could it be the Star of Bethlehem? Jennifer Brindisi finds out.
The brightest lights in the heaven shines on the first night of the winter solstice this year, and it's bringing a sense of wonder and awe right before Christmas. It's not happened since 1626 and not been seen since the year 1226. We talked with expert Kurt Spivey from YSU, who explains it as Jupiter and Saturn coming super close together, appearing as a single bright star December 21st.
The people of the Middle East did not follow the planets and stuff like the people from the Far East did. So most scholars that you will talk to as far as astronomy goes do think it was probably a planetary conjunction that happened around, I think it was around 4 AD.
Regardless of whether you believe it's the Star of Bethlehem, which the Bible mentions, it is undoubtedly going to be quite the sight.
This is a terrific thing to look at with binoculars as well. And if it is cloudy on the 21st, they're going to be getting closer and closer and closer together over the next 3 weeks, and they'll still be really close together for a few weeks after that. So if you don't get them right at the close approach, try it on either side when you get some clear skies. It's still going to be a spectacular show.
With more local news, I'm Jennifer Brindisi.
Everyone these days could use a little support, and your friends at the ESO Network are no different. With the ESO Network Patreon, the cool thing is when you help support us, it's you who will benefit. With 4 tiers starting for as little as 25 cents a week, you can listen to some of your favorite network podcasts early, hear exclusive content, maybe get some ESO swag, or even possibly take a shot at the geek seat. All you need to do is sign up at patreon.com/ESO Network.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping for the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.